Welcome back to NYSE TV Live, everyone, and Happy New Year. I'm Kristen Schuller here in studio at the Stock Exchange. Well, this holiday season, cases of norovirus, or the stomach bug, surged toward the end of the year. And according to the CDC, there were 91 outbreaks during the week ending on December 5th, 69 more than the previous week. Well, the CDC says there are generally 65 or less outbreaks per week in recent years. And joining me now with more on this, on how to stay healthy, is Dr. Bob Lahita. He's the director of St. Joseph's Institute for Autoimmune and Rheumatic Diseases. Doctor, thank you so much for joining, and Happy New Year.
Kristen, Happy New Year to you.
Look, as these cases of norovirus spread in certain pockets, and as we get ready to start the new year, what do our viewers need to know in order to stay healthy?
Okay, well, norovirus is a particular virus for which there is no cure. It is a virus for which there is also no vaccine known. It's very infective, and the way you get infected with this virus is to touch things, and only 10 viral particles are required for infection. Now, you may remember cruise ships having an infection. One person has the infection, and the entire ship is quarantined, and the disease goes through a ship like wildfire, and everyone gets diarrhea, has vomiting. Fortunately, it only lasts about 3 days, but it's quite serious. Doesn't kill anybody. It's a self-limited kind of infection, but it makes you miserable. It causes gastritis, which is inflammation of the lining of the stomach. So you have a lot of belly discomfort, and you vomit, and you can have diarrhea and vomiting both at the same time. Sometimes patients who are unstable, like having cancer therapy or having an immunologic disease, will get quite ill and have a high fever. But that is generally not the case. It's usually just a miserable illness. It's particularly bad also in nursing homes, schools, university dormitories, that sort of thing.
So, doctor, what are the best ways to prevent this? Washing your hands, I'm sure, is one of them. Is a mask you still recommend at times? What would you say?
No, I don't recommend a mask because remember, this is not like a respiratory virus. A respiratory virus, an example would be measles, where if you have one person in a room of 40 people with measles, all 40 of those people are going to get measles. So this is not one of those. This is we call it a fomite directive, meaning if you handle a doorknob and somebody has a norovirus, you're going to get it. If you're washing a diaper from a baby who gets norovirus, you're going to get it. So washing your hands and making sure you don't put your fingers in your mouth if you're in any infected area is a good idea because the virus is transmitted very readily, those kinds of things. If you're caring for somebody with norovirus, you're sure as heck going to get it. So it's one of those really nasty conditions.
Okay. Doctor, obviously with norovirus spreading, it's good that we hit that. But as we start 2025, some people are still getting sick. What other diseases or infections are on your radar right now?
Okay, on our radar is influenza. Influenza, the old regular variant, everybody should have their flu shot. This is the time of the year, actually, beginning of November through February, one can get a flu shot. And I tell you that most of the hospitals that I am privileged to belong to require a flu shot in order to continue caring for patients. So regular influenza. And then there's a lot of concern about H5N1, which is the so-called bird flu. Now, the bird flu is going to infect some humans, particularly farmers, dairy farmers, chicken coop, people who take care of chickens, large numbers of chickens. And as you know, around the country, the bird flu goes through a chicken flock and kills all of the chickens. And the chickens have to be sacrificed, those who have not been infected. Then we're worried about that in cow milk. So that is another issue. The problem here is that there have been, in rare instance, I believe in one in California and perhaps one in Louisiana, of a patient who got a human bird flu. And it was decidedly a variant of H5N1 and pretty nasty. It made that person very sick. With bird flu, The predominant symptom is conjunctivitis or redness of the eyes, and that's how we know you're getting it. Nausea, vomiting, weakness, fever, all of those things happen that you would see with regular flu. I don't envisage anybody in New York City, Los Angeles, or Chicago getting bird flu because it is largely restricted to rural areas at this time, Kristen.
Dr. Bob Lahita, director of St. Joseph's Institute for Autoimmune and Rheumatic Diseases, thank you so much for joining. Have a happy and healthy new year.
Thank you, Kristen. You too.